or is it fine?
Perhaps a little bit.
Just a little bit. Better? Can you see the agenda? Okay. Do you want to have it a little bit bigger? That got screwed up. It's our third meeting, and we agreed that we will do it on the 3rd and the 4th of May. It will be online. I suggest to do it on Zoom. I feel it's most convenient, at least for me. Just tell me if you're not agreeing. I reflected also related to the interim report and to the current state of the project, what we should focus on in the transnational meeting. And it's true, we're heading to the last year of our 3-year project. And actually, the end of the project is already appearing up on the horizon, and we should manage to fix everything within the last year. So planning of the 3rd year of the project and monitoring the project process would be an aim. Finalizing the preparation for our transnational training sessions that we want to start at the end of May with a first session. We're a little bit behind in terms of the project newsletter. So I propose to develop a publication plan for the project newsletter and to plan topics for the different issues. A while ago, we started working with the questionnaire for IO3. And in the meantime, I guess most partners have aggregated some answers for the questionnaire, and we could discuss the key findings for IO3 of this questionnaire. There should be a coherence between the pilot measures in your organizations and what we developed for IO1 and IO2. I think it's helpful for all partners to have a common understanding of how multiplying events should look like in the 3rd year at the end. We could integrate a first unit of training of the e-learning platform that you may or may not use for your pilot measures. And as always, an aim of the meeting would be learning from each other. So that was like everything that I thought is important to think about for the future of the project. Before we come to the preparation of the training, I would like to go to the agenda so you understand what the preparation assignments come from. In general, I thought to meet on Monday and Tuesday from 9 to 4 o'clock to have an hour lunch break and to have breaks in the morning and in the afternoon. So we are never more than 1.5 hours online. For the start, welcome technical problems. I would think of little exercises for cheering up between the sessions, like in the beginning, introduction to the agenda. And then I thought you prepared a contribution to the interim report, describing in short abstracts what your current state is in terms of pilot measures and consulting committees. And we could just read out loud these different sections of each partner so everybody's informed about the current state. And if I don't manage today, I would like to give you feedback on the interim report and what the national agency reported back to me and asked me related to the interim report. And I would visualize what project targets we still have to meet and how much time is left, just to give you all a common understanding. And then my methodological idea for the meeting would be that we split up in working groups and we focus on different things that are relevant for the project. So one working group would finalize the preparation for the transnational training sessions, like invitation letter, preparing the first session, and so on. Another working group would develop a publication plan for the project newsletter and planning the topics for the project newsletter. Another working group, we also promised to have a few media releases, could work on templates for media releases, and another group to conceptualize multiplying events. For all these working groups, I would prepare, let's say, working sheets. So you can, you don't have to start with an empty paper, but you can fill in maybe a working sheet. Then there would be a presentation, and then the idea is, I jump towards the next day, that we do a round of rotation, that you then work with the results of another working group the next day and continue working on the results of the working group. That would then be the next day. The afternoon of Monday, we should or could focus on the key findings of the questionnaires for IO3. And I think it's worth an afternoon really to discuss what are the topics that are raised by the questionnaire. And we still haven't really looked at the pre-test of our participants for the transnational meeting. Maria has prepared the results in a written way. Maybe we can close the day just by having a look together on the results of the pretest, because we haven't really valued the outcomes of that yet. And then on Tuesday, as I said before, we would do a round by handing over the results of one working group to another one and to continue to work on the results. And then after the break, we can decide who will take responsibility for the next steps for the different assignments. Shortly before, and that's an idea I haven't really discussed with Andrea yet, I just thought maybe it's a good start at the transnational meeting to have a first training unit for the e-learning platform. And before the lunch break, we could arrange that everything's set up technically. And then we go for the lunch break. And then after the lunch break, we could, the training unit would be later in the afternoon. This topic relates to what was the feedback of the interim report. I think it would be helpful for you to prepare your ideas, how you want to implement the pilot measures before the transnational meeting, and then you can present them in the transnational meeting year. And then for the afternoon, there would be maybe one learning unit on the e-learning platform, a final break, and then the conclusion of the meeting and the next steps and farewell. Yeah, that's my proposition. As I don't see you all on the screen by sharing my screen, I stopped the screen sharing. That was a quick run through my draft. So please let me know. I have to go back to the preparation part. Hold on. And because of the idea for the agenda, I thought it would be helpful if the partners could prepare for the meeting to check if the supporting documents according to the interim report are complete, to really think of a curriculum for your own pilot measures you now know how IO1 and IO2 will look like, and to prepare it to present it to the partners, and also to conclude your key findings from the questionnaire so you can share them with partners at the meeting. Yeah. She's trying to connect. Agnieszka so great. I'm just checking the chat. Okay, Isabel, please go ahead.
Only to be sure, there are no staff and peers included, or in the. Oh. Okay, and so we are not finished our model yet. Did we have? Is it another idea to get time on these 2 days? Now I understand you that we should present it next week. Or?
You mean IO1 and IO2?
IO1 and IO2 for perhaps us in Germany getting on board.
Ah, okay. Concerning IO1 and IO2, I didn't say that. From my point of view, the joint draft of IO1 and IO2 are at a stadium where you can actually use it to take it to implement parts of it. They're not in a nice shape, let's say in terms of layout, but content-wise, I think they're rich and full, and actually you can use it as a orientation to set up your pilot measures. Because I don't think that each partner will exactly implement each module by every minute as it is laid out in the, you always have to do adaptations and make them applicable to your situation. But all the material is there.
Yes, but we didn't change our model yet. We get some feedback from Agnieszka and so on, but we didn't put it in the form. So we have to work on it. And also we have some trainings with our peers, and so we developed the materials. So there are a lot of new things. So what should we do with this? Should we put it in the draft, or do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or what is there a time frame or a deadline to do?
Maybe I can explain what I thought. I think what we have to do in a parallel way is to use the material that we have for IO1 to actually start the pilot measures. I don't think that we will manage to have IO1 and IO2 in a version so we can publish it probably until we waste too much time until if we wait until everything's clean and ready and then to implement it. That's the problem that I have. And I think that at the moment, the draft of IO1 and IO2, once there is the major changes finished, what some of you have done the last few days, and we can discuss where we are at the moment. I think it needs to go to one person or maybe two to really go through the whole draft and make it, let's say, clean and coherent. because I don't think that it works splitting it up again and again and again, because then there needs to be 1 or 2 minds to really finalize it. So that's the reason actually why I thought the time that we have in the transnational meeting is too valuable to for the whole group to again work on IO1 and IO2 in detail. I hope I can make understandable what I mean. But maybe you disagree. Now the question, Isabel is still there. Now the question of Isabel was that there is new material. Did I understand that right?
And I don't know, because we are now, we do the training with the peers already, because we want to start in our school with the project in June. So we have to train the people, and I don't know how it looks in the other countries. Are they still so far yet? But I think we could also give a feedback for some training materials and how it works or something. And perhaps I think this is also a part of on Monday that we speak about the pilot measures. But I don't know if it's good to, I don't know. We ask us if we should put our new material there, or should it let it out. I don't know what's the best way. And I think some partners are not so far, but it's only my idea. Some are ready or finished with the models, and others have to do some work. And my idea was to split them. Perhaps we have a lot of work, we think, on our model to get it in a good way, and it would help us to have some time frame on the 2 days. But if you say we have no time for this, everybody have to work on the exercise or on the topic you show us, then that's okay.
What I understand is,
I don't know
if you agree that there is still so much in development by piloting certain things that it doesn't make sense to finalize IO1 and IO2 right now, because there will maybe new findings that come in later. Now, one question was if you should put it in right now, right? That was one question.
But we also we need some time, so we can do it in May, but not until this week. So we don't have the time now. That's also a problem. We need some time to put it in. And that's my question, because when the other one started with pilot measures, the module 1, our model getting on board, is, I think, now a little bit confusing. That's only my opinion. So we have some new material, really good things from colleagues who develop the things, and I think it would help to put it on. Okay. But if you say that no problem, we should work with the old material, then
okay,
it's like this.
Andrea, you have a comment or a question.
I was thinking about the fact that now I think that we have 2 topics. The first one is to give the chance in the transnational trainings and in the pilot measures to work and to start to work using the material and the huge material that we already have in the draft. And so this is a concrete chance to start this training and to start to connect people and to work on the training. And it's already a goal. It's already something very good for our people and to work on the pilot measures. And this is one topic, and I think that we can do with what we have at the moment. Then the second topic is that, of course, we have to draw a line, and so we have to say what we have and what the time is finished, and we have to use the last year of our project to do a fine tuning and the final definition of our material, and so I think that we have to start to arrive to a final version of our material. And I think that for this second topic, maybe that we can have we can give ourselves a time in the next month to close and to put all the material together in a shape that it's ready to be shown and to be spread with our stakeholders. But about the first topic, I think that we can use what we have at the moment, and I think it's also good to do testing of the material and to try it on the ground and to use it in our group. I think that are two different topics. So if I understand what Isabel is saying, maybe they can have time to complete their material and to put it in a shape with it's fulfilled with all the new ideas that are coming. And okay, I think that we can decide to have a time for completing this work. But for the work in the pilot measures and in the training, I think that we have to be ready to decide immediately to use what we have at the moment.
Any other comments? When I listen to Isabel, I get the idea that you're concerned that very good material that you have for your module may not be available now for other partners, and that your module is not at the very best shape for the partners to start working with. But well, I would think, as Andrea said, you can start working with the material, and if you find that there is a good improvement to a module by a new material, then there is no prohibition that you add it to the module, but it doesn't need to be exactly by our next transnational meeting. What do you think? We have another transnational meeting in fall, that we use this meeting to really finalize IO1 and IO2, to set maybe the date shortly after the summer break, to say, if you want to add something to the modules, do this by the end of summer, and then for the fall meeting we can prepare the final version of IO1 and IO2. And the material that we have right now, with the structure, with the teaching tools, is the material that you have for your pilot measures. My idea was to really, because we worked also due to the pandemic, and that we were kind of kept in hold to really move forward with the pilot measures, we focused so much on IO1 and IO2, and there is now a lot of material there. And I think it would be good for the partnership now to use the transnational meeting also to look at other things and to focus on other things in the project, because IO1 and IO2 is there and it's good. And it would probably a little bit waste of time to work in detail on the documents at the transnational meeting. Can you agree with that, or do you feel like no, that doesn't really work, or I don't know. Sometimes your stomach tells you if it's right or not.
Yes, if I can say a few words, yes, I agree that it's probably important to focus on other things. I agree also that there is a lot of material on our IO1 and IO2. Sometimes I'm thinking that it's really a huge work to go into details. I think that we all experience this now with the proofreading of the models. Sometimes I felt like lost in the Dropbox, searching some worksheets or trying to find to understand. Probably it will be important to take common time and to share and to discuss about details, but probably later, as Andrea told, we have to work. We will change the content of our models. Probably we will improve again. So probably it can be done a little bit later, at the end of the summer, or but probably it can be useful to go through details. But probably when we will have another an improved version of our models.
I share the draft one more time with you because when it comes to this status quo of pilot measures, it's not only what you wrote for the interim report, but also if there are new experiences that you update it, and that would be the place, for example, for RKA, when you say, oh, we've already started with pilot measures and our experience with module 1 was, and we recommend that you blah blah blah, then that would be probably a good moment to share this with all the partners. And also, if you agree and you prepare something visual to show how you plan your pilot measures, then you can also integrate your experiences with first modules that you've implemented or first training units. That doesn't necessarily say that we make immediate changes to the documents of IO1 and IO2, but it will be go into the documents later with all the evaluation and conclusion of the meeting. Does this help a little bit, Isabel, or do you feel like, meh? Okay. Anything else about the draft? I'm not quite sure how far you are with your findings concerning the conditions and framework and legal settings that are looked for with IO3. In Germany, we could apply the questionnaire to the consulting committee and to others. So we have some findings that we can share, but I don't know if it's the same for you.
No, for us it's not the same. We work on the questionnaire, and we did just an internal discussion and reflection on the question in the questionnaire. We had a meeting with consulting with the Italian consulting committee, but we have to plan a second meeting, and we were thinking about discussing with them about that part. But it's not already done.
That may be true for the most partners, I guess. Interpreting your reactions. Andrea? Mm-hmm. So what I would suggest for the agenda, if you haven't actually applied the questionnaire for IO3 to other stakeholders, you are a stakeholder yourself and you know the framework and the condition, that we have an internal exchange and discussion on the different questions in the questionnaire, because I think it's valuable to really also not complete all the tasks in the project, but also to learn from each other in terms of conditions and framework. So what I want to say is, I think you have enough expertise concerning the framework and the condition without having answers on the questionnaire from other stakeholders to involve in a discussion on these topics. So I would still keep that topic on the agenda. And if you want, you can still use the week to maybe ask somebody else, or to start an internal discussion if you feel like, oh, I don't know anything about these questions on the questionnaire. Is that fine? Maria, Patrick, Joshua?
I think it makes sense. In our consulting committee, we had sent a questionnaire to all the members, but only one person had filled it in for us. Then when we met together and discussed, we sort of agreed that Patrick and I, it would make more sense if we were to answer the questionnaire rather than the members of the consulting committee. So I think, at least in our case, what you've just said makes a lot of sense, that we go through it ourselves, since we have enough expertise to answer it.
Okay. Maria, I was felt so free to put you on the agenda with presentation of the pretest of the participants.
Yeah, honestly, I was a bit surprised because I didn't know about it. And it's a public holiday in Poland. But I
didn't know, sorry.
For half an hour. It's not problem. I will manage to get to you and make the presentation. Please just let me know if the results I have sent you are enough, or should I present something more?
I have to look at it. If the next day is not a public holiday in Poland.
I mean, the next Monday, yeah, the 3rd of May.
But the Tuesday not?
No, no, the Tuesday not.
Do you want me to switch to Tuesday?
You can leave it like this. No, don't worry. I will get to. I will join you anyway, so don't worry.
Okay.
Just wanted to say that I'm a bit was just surprised. That's the plan, but don't worry, it's okay. I guess we will email. I will contact you per email regarding the presentation. Okay, to consult you if the results I have already prepared are enough, or should I prepare something more, or how you want me to do it. Okay, so I will just
I guess it will be perfect.
And
we were so much into discussion. I didn't say hello to Agnieszka. Hi Agnieszka, welcome to our meeting. So
hi everyone.
Hi. Because Agnieszka and Maria are there, and Lucy and Vladan and Joshua and Patrick and Julia and Andrea. For the transnational meeting, we the target is that 2 persons per organization take part. So if you can manage to come as a team from your organization to the transnational meeting, then it would be perfect. Right.
So I'm sorry, Ulrike, if I understood right, so next week we should be 2 of our organization. So 2 people from our organization attend next week transnational meeting.
Yes, and I thought that you and Vladan, you are the team for the steering group.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Andrea, you are also on the agenda as a responsible person for the e-learning training unit. Do you feel like this works for the transnational meeting? Can you imagine preparing something for an hour, or
yes.
does not fit?
No, it's okay for me. I would like just, if it is possible, to work also on something more concrete. So if you, some of you want to test the possibility and the e-learning on the e-learning platform with the his or her module, I may do that on this topic. If not, I may use the module developed by Andrea Gillerio or the module I have worked on with Gilles to do the revision, and as you prefer. But if some of you want before next week want to test and start to send me something in order to see how we may develop an e-learning support to your activity and to your documents, I will be very glad to do that, as you prefer.
If you need anything in advance of the transnational meeting, setting up the e-learning unit, just write us an email and we respond to that.
Okay, I just need, I think, 1 hour on a one-to-one meeting with one of you who tell me how they wanted to develop the piloting phase with the contents of one module. And we may discuss on what we may put online, and I think that it's better to work in that way, because on Tuesday I will have something more concrete to present to you.
I understand you want to have one partner as example?
Yes.
And
this is my request, but if not,
example, you would show how to develop an e-learning
support, e-learning support to your module.
Okay. So is there any partner who would like to be a guinea pig? I guess it would need would mean some extra meeting between now and next week.
Yes, just 1 hour.
If Andrea heads up on what you plan to do.
Do you think, Andrea, that one of the module is more as a better adaptation, or it's
not necessarily? For example, the module I worked on with Gilles was module 3, and it was quite short and quite simple. So I think that this is a good example, because you do not have to develop a lot of materials and a lot of and it was very clear, because it included all the things, all the PowerPoints needed to develop it. And so I think it was a good example, but I do not want to sorry, maybe I'm wrong with the number. It's the module about communication. It was the module about communication at high level, but I do not remember if it was a 3 and it became 5 or vice versa. But I was referring to that module. It was quite simple, not too long, and but if you want to work on your modules, for me it's okay, and we may do as we have done for the first phase, for the first short training, that we developed something together in order to show some examples of e-learning and digital learning.
I think that the French module is perfect.
Okay. But it was not the French module, I think. I've been working with Gilles on it, but it was not from the French partner, I think.
It was Polish.
Polish, yes.
The French is not perfect at all. There is a lot of material, a lot of things, and probably it's not really. We have to work on it before trying to put it on the e-learning system, I think.
I think that's a very, very charming moment, because on the one side we are confused, and on the other side we realize it's really a common product. We don't even know who was the author or the creator of something. So there are always two sides to a story. So Andrea Ascari, do you have someone you can prepare your unit with, or do you still need someone? I got lost.
If Agnieszka or Maria are available for 1 hour, I do not need more than 1 hour to discuss with them and to plan the work, and I will show them on the platform what I may do. I think that I may keep working on the module on communication on eye level.
Okay, I can dedicate a whole hour to you, Andrea. just to give you the heads up, I'm not available on Friday.
Okay.
So if we can do it tomorrow or on Thursday, that would be okay.
Yes, just
me.
take a look on my agenda. Tomorrow it's okay, only late afternoon. On Thursday it's okay all the day, and so as you prefer. Tomorrow.
So let's make it Thursday, okay?
Thursday, okay. 10 o'clock is okay.
10 o'clock, perfect.
Okay, I will send you a link. Thank you, Agnieszka.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. That sounds. I'm curious. That will be great. So I just double check the agenda of the transnational meeting, if there's anything else. As I said, I will prepare a few lines for the different working groups. Are you fine with doing the preparation, like sketching your pilot measures so you can visualize them to the partners and to reflect on like key statements or key findings related to the questions of the questionnaire? You feel comfortable preparing this for the meeting? Okay. Then I would shortly tell you what happened with the interim report. Well, I submitted it with your help. Thanks a lot for the contribution. It helped a lot. Everything was fine except for, yeah, they wanted to know why we dropped the transnational training. And then finally a misunderstanding came up, because in the flexibility rules it said you have to do digitally your measures as it was agreed on in the financial agreement. And that means you need to do full training days, at least 3 in a row. And as we agreed, we said that's not possible for our target group. And anyway, we are not experts in setting up full day online training days at this point. And so I described what I did, and as I submitted the agenda, and then they said, well, you don't have to do full days. It would have been enough to do 1 or 2 days, 2 hours per day, but you need to do them 3 in a row. And I said, well, if I had known that 1 day, 1 hour is enough and we just do it 3 days in a row, then it would have been officially a transnational joint staff training. So that's what I had to describe. And I said, no, we didn't drop it. We just arranged it differently, blah, blah, blah. And the transnational training sessions that we want to do per month with 1 hour is just an add-on. It's not a substitute. It's an add-on to what we already do. So what that means in the end is the national agency encouraged us to plan a transnational joint staff training in real life or virtually, and in order to get it counted as a joint staff training, we should do something that's 3 days in a row, but maybe only 1 or 2 hours per day. And that is something that we should maybe plan for the end of the year. And I said, eventually next spring, there is the possibility to travel together to some place. So that was a lot, kind of little, yeah. And what else? And I was surprised. That's just like an experience I want to share with you. Normally, our national agency is happy with the description of what we do, but now they wanted to see our working results in progress. So they wanted to see what we did for IO1 and IO2. And you know, it's a huge document. And I said, well, if you want to read through it. It's not in a publication stadium. So that was kind of surprising that they really want to look into our working documents. And is it similar in your countries? I was a little bit surprised, but that's how it is.
I think it's so unusual that all the people are working in this online fashion. And so I think that they have a special attention in trying to check if the things are done all the same. Maybe they just want to check more than usually.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
We have the same situation with regards to other EU funds, not this kinds of funds, but for other EU funds. Yes, they're requesting us screenshots, for example, of the work we do. And if we record our work with clients on our online system, we need to send them screenshots as well to prove. So yes.
maybe that's a good explanation, that there's less trust in the work if you do it digitally than face to face. Yeah, but everything else I think is okay and fine. There were no other comments, and yeah, that's it. So finally, maybe we can update each other on what we agreed on to do on IO1 and IO2 at our last meeting. And I have to admit, I was shortly before my vacation. I thought I write up the summary when I'm back from my vacation, and then my brain was empty and I couldn't remember anymore what we agreed on. But I knew there were a few people like Joshua and Andrea and Krasimira and Isabel. You wanted to do, let's say, bigger changes on certain modules. So maybe you can just update us. No, help me. I don't know anymore. Casimira.
No, it wasn't really big changes, but it was to continue with the feedback on module 1 for our group with Agnieszka. And in particular, it was to check the worksheets and to find the right place. And yes, it was really in this way. And so I put the comments on the draft document yesterday.
Okay, so this is done. And then Joshua and Patrick sent me that they made some changes.
Yes, we for the module 4 that me and Andrea were working on, originally in section A and section B, we put the joint training twice, and we left section C out. So I arranged that in the draft. I removed them from section A and B and made a section C. So that's updated, and it was also suggested for module 6 if we should create a section C. But me and Patrick had a discussion about this, and sort of our vision of module 6. We still decided to stick to a section A and B without section C.
Thanks. Was there anything else that should be changed by today? No. Is there anything that a partner wants to do on IO1 and IO2 now, because they say this is not okay yet, or no? Okay.
We just have a meeting, and me, Andrea Aguilerio, and Julia. We have a small meeting to discuss some certain aspects of module 5. Right after this meeting at noon. So by today will be more clear, Ulrike.
And just I'm not sure, but for example, I didn't yet worked on the changes for our model. I didn't make the changes yet. For the model we wrote, the model 2, I had your comments, but I didn't have time to make changes in the contents according to the recommendations.
You know, we have this joint draft. If you feel like there should changes made, go ahead. Like Krasimira, if you say, there were some comments, I can make improvements, just do it. Or if Patrick, Julia, and Andrea come across that, just do it. But at the moment, the draft is the working version that is the baseline for your pilot measures. And as Isabel said, maybe in the meantime, you've made improvements already, and we can add them also at a later stage. Okay. So that's pretty much it, what I wanted to discuss with you today. For Monday and Tuesday, you will get a Zoom link, and please forward this to and the final version of the agenda. And please forward this to people that you want to join to the meeting. But again, it's a transnational meeting for the steering group and for the team of your organization, not for additional staff or participants or peers. Okay. Yeah, for the end of the meeting, we should have again this little feedback form on the transnational meeting, but I think that's already set up in the platform. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, one other experience with the national agency. I sent them our project website, and when you're on the website, you get this on the tab, the link to the e-learning platform. And they actually thought that's an IO. And she said, I don't have access to this learning platform. And I said, oh, this is only internal. We don't provide this to the whole world.
No. Normally when
our training. That was funny too. Okay. So
Ulrike, sorry. Normally, when we use e-learning platforms in European projects, we provide the agency with a specific account in order to see all the things. And so, if you give me an address, I will send them an account in order to see, because it's right, they may see what happens and what we do, and so.
Okay, that's a good idea. So So, any other questions? No. Then, I think we should be clear on what we want to do next week. I hope I get my colleague Hilde on board. She's quite busy with managing all pandemic strategies. Yeah. Well, if there are any questions, please come back to me and ask me. Otherwise, we see each other on Monday. And I'm looking forward to discussing all these things with you. Thank you very much.
Thank
Say
you.
hello to
Bye.
Thank you, Rita, and all the others who are not here.
See you. Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.
We see you at 12,
Bye-bye.
Patrick.
See you soon. Yes.
At
Soon.
12. Is
At
that
12.
right?
Yes. 12.
Okay, perfect.
See you. Bye bye.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
I will email you later, Ulrika. All right? I will.
Yeah, bye.
Bye-bye. See you guys.
Ulrike?